Here we are. I'm happy to be here. I certainly hope that you're happy to be here. I'm about to jack my jaws for about a solid hour. We're gonna play some certified right out the box in the background. We're gonna commemorate my friend. We're gonna talk about how crazy life is. We're gonna make some art. But most importantly, we're going to enjoy our time here together. Yeah. Heck yeah. All right, so if you ain't hyped, go ahead and start working on that now. Whatever you gotta do. If you gotta get you some Mountain Dew, go get you some Mountain Dew. But we about to hang and bang for an hour. All right. As you can see, I got a little bit of a head start. Normally, I do like to just start, with a presentation, just start purely from scratch, right? But hopefully this is not so much that you think that I projected. Well, I'm talking trash. I'm sorry. That's out of character. Look, what... I've had some interactions here lately that have left me just a wee bit spicy. So I'm going to ask for your forgiveness in this very moment. I will not go to that place again. All right. We got the jams. Oh, man. All right. We got the reference photo up here. Now, the reference photo, let me tell you, in a situation like this, memorializing a person, the photo is going to indeed be very important, right? Very important. However, yet and still, what I put on this paper cannot be that photo exactly. There's something that happens when we draw on paper, it is not just the photograph. It is not like all the information that you put onto this paper is bam, smack, it's right there. That's not how it works. We are creating relief within the paper. So you have to keep that in mind, and you have to balance that as you create. Otherwise, you'll end up with a drawing that doesn't correctly communicate the space that is being told. So for instance, we got this section right in here, and if you trust the photo, you'll end up drawing it like this eye and this part of the cheekbone. Put in the comments what you'd like to say to me after that. Alright, so if we're not careful, what we'll end up doing is saying that this spot here is on the same plane as this spot here, when we know that in all actuality that this spot back here is farther away from the viewer than this spot here, despite the fact that this spot here is lighter than this spot here. That was a lot. All right. So I'm just going to start drawing so that when some of these things come up, we can talk about it. Maybe learn something. All right. So I will look at the reference because at the photo reference because there's some information that I do have to like photographically get correct. Like this highlight that sits on his eyelid here. You got to get the shape of that right. Right? But then after you got the shape right, then you got to make sure that you have your form right. And you're probably not going to get a lot of information from form. I wonder what the rules are for commercials. Do I have to mute this commercial? I'm going to go ahead and mute it. Just in case. I mean, it's not my commercial. They didn't tell me, hey, play this commercial on your video. So, like, sorry, guys. I'm muting you before I get muted. And then, you know, I say something valuable. And then, you know the game. Now I got to call my lawyer. All right. So I'm working this. And let me be careful because right now I got this is kind of like my filling pen that I'm using right now. And good Lord, I love this pen. I feel like I could do an entire picture only using this 0.9. You know, it creates a nice thick line. It'll get the whole space for you. All right. Here's something that's fun. The eye crease. Okay, if you look at eye creases in photos, they will get very linear on you. But please, by all means, remember that an eyeball is round. Therefore, when you draw an eye crease, you've got to put... Somebody's calling me. Looks like they might leave a voicemail. I hope this didn't mess up my video. Somebody called me and messed up my video. New snap. Can I get it in both frames? Whatever. Oh, I got the music running in the background. Might have saved me. That was crazy. Quiet on the set. Maybe I need to just like straight up put it on Do Not Disturb. Even for the people I like. Okay, here we go. Back to this eyeball. Well, we were talking about the roundness. Like, draw the line that you know is there. Try to keep it in the same space, but you have to like round your line. Otherwise, you will end up with a goofy drawing. Same thing with the opening of the eye. I'm sure this anatomy has a formal name. I'm not really worried about any iris. I can never remember the name of the white of the eye. Put that in the comments for me if you know it off the rip. But if you got to research it too, then like, don't put it in the comments. You cheating. You going out of your way. Not my music. Not my commercial. So why am I drawing this guy? Well, and this guy, Jonathan Mendez, I met him in Georgia, and he was the platoon leader of the company that I was coming into. He was one of the 2 platoon leaders that were there. I was the new guy, and he was on his way out. He was on his way on to Triple C, going to learn how to be a company commander. But before he left, one of the things that he wanted to make sure was that I was set and ready to, set and in a good position to take over from him, take over the platoon from him. Which was like more care than I had received, more care and more concern that I had received from anybody in the Army, honestly. Maybe that's not fair to say. I don't know, but I can say that about him. He cared. He made me feel like he cared about my success, even though he had no responsibility for my success. So, a couple weeks ago, I get a phone call from one of the sergeants that we both worked with. And he goes, well, hey man, how are you doing? I'm like, man, life is good. Life is great right now. I'm happy. Blah-de-blah, whoop-de-whoop. And then he's like, well, man, look, I'm not calling because I have good news. I don't know if you've ever had anyone call you and say that before. I mean, maybe you have. And then he tells me, hey man, Mendez died. He's gone. Oh no, or did he say John? Yeah, he said Mendez. I'm like, what? How? Like, what? This guy is strong guy, largely physically fit, and I say that because he had bad knees, man. His knees was kind of jacked up, but otherwise, this guy's strong as an ox, man. Physically capable, mentally capable. I'm using this eraser to lighten the light that's hitting his eyelid. All right, back into story time. And I think what ate me up the most about it was we had talked quite a few times after he left the company. We talked when he was in Triple C. I helped him out as much as I could with stuff. Like when he needed stuff, I would source it from the company, help him out. Because that was the least that's what I wanted to do for him. He went out of his way for me. I would go out of my way for him. And oh man, another commercial. Sorry, y'all, I gotta cut it off. They sure do make it look good. So, back to the story. Where was I? So we talked a couple times, and then he decided, well, it wasn't so much that he decided, but he mad boarded out of the Army. The knees, man. If you ain't got nothing, if you ain't got no cartilage left in your knees, if you ain't got no, like, stuff in your knees, man, you probably can't, those 12-mile rucks are not just a source of great exercise. They are a source of torture. Anyway, I'm not trying to justify anything. I'm just telling you where he was. So he's out, getting out of the Army. We talked like on his last day, like he was getting his last little bit, going through the company, seeing if he could catch anybody that he knew, shake hands, be like, hey y'all, I'm heading home. And we talked. And then he was gone, and we texted a couple of times, and then he was on my mind this summer. I'm like, oh, man, I need to reach out to him. I need to say something. I ain't really got nothing to say, but like, I just need to like say, what's up, man? How are you doing? How are the kids? How's the old lady? Shoot the breeze if nothing else, but I never did it. And then Sergeant calls, hits me with the news. Oh man, but this is where it like really kind of chewed me up. He was like, yeah, he was riding Sergeant told me that he was riding a motorcycle and got hit on a motorcycle. I was just like, what? That just almost doesn't even sound right, and it just kind of like kept spinning in my head. I kept thinking about it. I couldn't let it go, so I Googled it. Kind of wish I could have let it go. Because when I Googled it, I Googled his name. It was like 30-year-old man hit and killed on his bicycle. And it was just like, oh my God, this all just went like full circle on me, man. Like, all right, so I'm gonna take a break on story time. And I'm gonna talk about art for a second. So like, we're working on this iris right now, but like in the photograph, there's not a lot of information here on his iris. So we're not gonna like force information here. It's way too early in the game. I don't even have the other eye. I don't have like his face structure. Granted, I am going to make all my face structure from this eye, but I don't want to start doing stuff like trying to like force in a iris, and then goodness gracious, the pupil. I don't want to like try to force a pupil in here way too early in the game. We got some eyelashes that hang down here. I'm not gonna go chasing these either, way too early in the game. I am gonna go for some lower eyelid muscle structure. Let me adjust myself, adjust my posture. I was gnarly right there. It's funny, before I started recording, I set myself up. I was like, this is where I need to be. And then before I know it, I'm all like, yeah, and next we're gonna draw the diggity. My bad, y'all. I'll be getting excited. Oh man. So I did that research. Devastated. Just absolutely devastated afterwards. Cause like, let me say this. In the Army, and maybe it's not true for you if you're in. Maybe your branch is different, but the infantry, very sensitive to size. Yeah, and this is me speculating a little bit, y'all. Forgive me. Anybody related to the story, please forgive me if I'm wrong. But like, you know, I just hear the story about him. You know, I hear that detail about him riding his bike, and I'm like, man, being on a bicycle, like, why was he on a bicycle? And it's like, well, I know why he was on a bicycle. He's exercising. Nobody wants, you know, we want to be fit. We want to be healthy. I don't care if you're in, if you're out, like, I'm sure a lot of us get out of the Army and we're like, yeah, I'm going to grow a beard. I'm never going to shave again. But I don't think any of us get out and say, man, I'm finna get fat. I ain't never working out again. Hey, if that's you and you watching this, then yeah, go ahead and let me know. Go ahead and drop it in the comments right here. Yeah, I got put on 40 as soon as I get out. Good for you. How you do it? Ice cream? What flavor? Let me stop. I see a campaign coming from this. Let me be easy on. You know, this is like my blocking in, and I'm like, this is my blocking in pencil, and I'm trying to use it to make lines. I got pencils for that. I'm gonna save them for that. So I'm just gonna aim for the tone here, and maybe I could do that across this whole entire picture. Just use this pencil to get the tone. But I'm me. And I'm going to go with my flow. And right now, my flow says, kind of do that. You can kind of do that. Let me back up a little bit. Get back in the frame. All right. Very, very, very sensitive time in the photo, right? Moving from your source eye into your second eye. And like, I got to make sure I get his eyebrows right. The angle on the eyebrows right. And I'm going to refer to the photo on this. For my reference, I got the slimmest angle up. You know, if this is 0,
Mom?
You know, I know we all gotta go, right? We're all going to go. None of us are making it out of this thing alive. I do find it interesting that not interesting, but concerning maybe. Of the entire battalion in my time there, or yeah, since I got to the battalion, there's been there's been some stuff that's happened that, like, but still. All right, let me pause on the story and tell you about what I'm doing. This thing that I'm using right now has a couple of different names. The easiest one is smudge stick, right? You could use your finger to blend or to smudge things, but I like the smudge stick. It keeps your picture clean, keeps your oils out of the picture. I mean, to some degree, like my hand is still on the paper, right? So oils on the paper. But still a mechanical device that, ooh. Okay, here we go. New issue. When you're working on skin, you're gonna get a lot of tones that are like really close to one another. Like even when I look at my picture, I've got like a tone here. But then I've got a different tone right here. Yeah? And it's like, hey, how do I handle that? For your reference, I would say go ahead and shift your reference to black and white. Is that cheating? Sure. I mean, it may help you. What I would say is even after you adjust the picture to black and white, adjust the contrast, adjust the tint. Take your reference one step further in editing so that it's not just the default settings of the capture device, but instead it's your settings. This is your interpretation. Period. It's yours. And do everything you can to make this picture yours. That's what I'm doing right now. I missed all them notes. Lord forgive me. All right. See, that's crazy. Because it's not crazy. It's not crazy. Interesting. I went in and made that adjustment. And a tone that I thought I was seeing being there, I don't see it at all. However, what I do see now is texture in the space that I thought was tone. And generally details like I'm about to go for right now don't really matter to me.
YouTube Premium is ad-free YouTube and ad-free video.
YouTube gonna mute me over their commercial. I don't know. All right, so So what do we learn from this story? For me, if I'm thinking about you, I'm gonna reach out. I might not have nothing to say, man, but I'd rather call you with nothing. I'd rather call you and not have anything to say than not be able to call you. And like, maybe also be better about how I use social media. You know? Well, I mean, I'm active on social media, so I'm not mad at myself, but just because I'm active doesn't mean that I'm like active always in the right way. Like, I'll get on social media and I'll talk about me. That's not very sociable. I'm sorry. Look at that. Ain't nothing like some good art to get you to reflect on your own stupidity. Oh, that was negative. I am sorry. Alright. So, typically I don't like to create with the smudge stick, because if you create with your smudge stick alone, it tends to give you some fairly uneven shading. But there was some information underneath it, so that helps keep me smooth. And I think it's important to be smooth here because, well, his skin was smooth. And I want this picture to look, feel, and, you know, and just be everything except for him. So, yeah. On journeys, man.
Your favorite movies and TV shows are on YouTube.
How am I doing on time? Okay, for the hair. For right now, my primary concern with the hair is structure. And when I say structure, I honestly mean shape. That's really the only thing that I'm filling it in, so I guess color too. But details, that'll get like caught on the next pass. I think at this phase, one of the most important things are going to be structure, proportions, and contrast. Oh, man, who am I kidding? I don't know where his nose is going. So I'm not gonna like try to finalize any one aspect until I've got all the aspects on the page. Then I'm gonna start building the detail. Like, who cares about the details if the story's wrong? I don't care about the details if the story's wrong. Get the story right. We'll put the details in later. Whew, man. Oh boy. His eye almost looks like it's closed. It's not though. But after my editing, darkened it up pretty good. Let me see if I need to change anything else. I don't really like this shape in here, but there's not enough in there for me to be like, oh, I need to change or I need to adjust. I do see something here that I might have missed. So one of the things, this is a gum eraser that I'm using here. One of the things that's cool about a gum eraser is that you can just kind of tap in the area and it'll lift very lightly. Your soul and your mind. Like when I look at this and I see this, I'm very pleased with my progress so far. Like, this looks like the guy that I remember. I was kind of hurt about the reporting that was that was published about him. Like, man, y'all didn't tell none of his story. It was just y'all just kind of like presented this information like, oh, just another bad day. I don't know. I do know. I was upset. I just. He wasn't just a name. He wasn't just a. This was an accomplished human being. Like, it was a person that mattered. And like all the news had was a name. Like it. Like the amount of work that they did was receive a report from the coroner's office. Yeah, that was like the extent of the reporting that was done. It was like reformatting the report from the coroner's office and the suspect search from the related suspect search from the police office. Yeah. Who cares? I know that I do. So, one of the things I'm thinking is like, how do we, this, albeit unfortunately and thankfully, well, no, not thankfully. Unfortunately, his demise was not unique. Is not unique. And in this picture, you know, it's one thing to just draw them, right? But to also make it a work of art that can do something for this community, and this community being the cyclists. Like, this was my friend who has become a cyclist. I've got no other way to say it. He's become a cycling martyr. Is that aggressive? I don't think so. I don't think that's aggressive to say. Still, I don't know how you couldn't be concerned about an accident while being a cyclist, like an accident with a motor vehicle. Like, and you can't tell me that you're not if you have a helmet, if you have reflectors on your bike. Like, it's a serious concern. You're not wrong for being concerned about it. So, what can I do? Same thing that I offer everybody. My imagination, the skills that I have learned along the way, I think I gotta erase something here. I'm not sure. Let me. And right now I'm thinking that there could be a solution. I'm gonna draw it. That way. And maybe there are. I know that there are existing solutions out there. I no longer agree with this line. Which is funny because I always say, like, hey, any line that you drew in your picture was correct. I am going to I'm going to exercise my right to disagree with my former self. It's kind of interesting, like, what do you see on the camera? I know what I see here, but what does the camera see? Which one is the truth? Which one is, like, I might, dare I say, if it's not, it's cool if it looks right here on the paper, but if it doesn't look right on your monitor, on your system, then chances are it's not going to look right to the end user, your audience. And you put it up on the wall for the first time and you're like, what have I done? I could put this eye in. However, I do think that we should go from the back to the front, from the top to the bottom, from the left to the right. Which would put me down onto the nose next. This cheek. Something that I see is artists will go in here and draw like every single crease. And like, I don't know that we should be doing it. And I say it.
How are the numbers looking? We're landing at a strong.
One of the reasons why I say that is because why am I saying that? I don't know. I've you know what? Y'all just keep on doing it. You just go ahead and keep on doing it. If it makes you happy, this is one of those things. If it makes you happy to do it, then you should by all means continue to do it. You know, it's one of those things that just makes your work unique from mine. However, if you want to hear what I do, I'm still going to share what I believe. Our goal is not to become slow print. Yeah, we don't want to be slow print. Like we need to offer something different than the photograph. And goodness. I believe that one of the best ways to do that is to mark texture. Don't draw the photograph when it comes to texture. Make your own texture in the places that texture needs to be. In the event that you are drawing from a reference, there's a lot of me that is tempted to go on and just like start. Like wilding out on this picture and like just making this beautiful work of art that is commercially viable and but all things in balance, man. Like, is that what the family wants? Yeah, I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say it just like this. I am the new Picasso, right? And in saying that, I also think, like, would you want, I'm calling him up, hey, I heard the news about John and I'm going to send you an old Picasso. All things in balance, art in taste. Now I gotta look at this painting that I went left on. I went left on this painting. For better or worse, I went left on it. I approached it from the left. However, the handling of it was traditional. Careful, laborious. But we're not here to talk about that picture. All right, I got 5 minutes, so it's kind of like closing time. I wasn't expecting to finish this today. I think I'll have this finished next week. I think that's a reasonable amount of time. And then after this picture, I will be moving it into some commercial artwork, and I am jazzed about that. Aren't you? Gonna be making some seasonal artwork. It'll be made by W, so it's going to be funky. Did I play through this whole playlist? I don't remember hearing Emmy Boo.
Since 2019, John
I don't remember hearing All the Ways. You know, I have all these songs. These are all my songs. What I don't, and I could have just played them from wherever, but I'm double dipping. Look, why would somebody else listen to me if I wouldn't listen to myself? That's one. All right, so this is this mouth, right? This is one of those spots where if you draw it photographically, you may end up like pinching the jaw in this area here. So like, remember that the mouth comes forward. So what that would mean in translation of space is that you got to bring it back towards the center so that there is space from this point to this point to properly depict the jaw. All right, so we're gonna have some fun stuff to talk about through this picture, like how to draw teeth. He's got great teeth. We may do something, we may still do some teeth tuning. You know, in a memorial, I think that we should there should be some idealization. Light. However, you know, in the drawing, the smudging, there is idealization happening still. Let's see. I told you all about the commercial art that's coming up. IMB, everything for your music. I'm hype about the IMB project because the music has been conditioned, and I believe that it plays amongst contemporaries, certainly at the local level, but also at the regional and national level. Certainly at the regional level. There's some more stuff that could happen with the music, to the music, to better match the national level producers and whatnot. But in time, man, in time. Thank you all for rocking with me for excuse me. Even if you fast forwarded to this part where we are now, thank you for fast forwarding. Thank you for even being interested in what's happening here. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all be blessed.